All right. So good evening to everybody. I know that because of this change, right, of the schedule, some of you were not able to be here on time. That's something that I mentioned. Right now, I'm looking at the group. All right. I'm checking that. Perhaps you are having some problems. But I think the thing is that most of you are not going to be able to be on time, which is going to be okay. I said, right, 7:45. Yes. But you know that the class is going to start, well, at 7:45. However, there's going to be like permission for all of you to be at 8 o'clock. But you know that this first 15 minutes, for the ones who are interested in checking something that we learned before, reviewing something, practicing a little bit, you can be at this time. All right, but anyhow, I'm going to start the class every time at 7:45, but all the important things in terms of the practice, the new content that I'm going to cover with you, everything is going to start at 8 o'clock. All right, so take that into account, and that's it. With that said, I'm sure that some of you are going to watch this class. I'm going to start explaining a little bit about the class. You know, this is part of the protocol, let's say. However, you know me and I know you, all right? That's why I'm going to skip the presentation. You know, I'm Luis, right? I'm also Luis. I've been working with you in the previous course, so you know about myself. And I'm not going to show that the presentation, all right, this presentation, that's why. But in case you want to check about me, you can go there and take a look at it again, all right? So that's the first part. The second part, and this is something I'm going to show you, most of the characteristics of the course, all right, well, you know them already because it's very similar to A13. But the main difference is that this is going to be for speaking and listening, right? Not for writing and reading. Let's check. In the meantime, just that everything is clear. The group classes, as always, right, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 hour and 45 minutes. You know that sometimes I use more time. I'm going to try not to do it that much, but sometimes it's important to do so. All classes are recorded, and we have daily surveys after each class, right? That's something we know. Now, the listening sessions are like the conversations, the reading sessions. You have two, right, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 15 minutes. You know that you have to book your sessions, and these sessions are going to be to practice your listening skills and also your speaking skills, because you're going to listen to some lectures, and after listening to those lectures, I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to tell you to tell me what you were able to understand, to give me a summary, and so on and so forth. All right. So that's the reading, oh, sorry, the listening session. This is going to be very important, but I'm going to wait for you. The rules, you know the rules. Also, I'm going to wait for you to be here to show this. The main difference is that now you have to turn on your cameras when participating and for the oral presentations, right? I'm going to keep that for later on. The evaluation, the same, right? You know, this logic, 30, 30, 40, it's the same. 30, it's going to be for the in-class activities, recordings, and participation, because here we're going to have a lot of recordings. This is a speaking class. You need to record yourself, right, while giving an answer, while following an instruction, so that I can see in a certain way, see, all right, and listen to what you're saying. Weekly oral presentations, that's 30%. That's what I'm going to explain when you're here. 40%, that's the final oral presentation. Okay, the same structure, right? As I said, 30, 30, 40. And 50.1, that's the minimum passing score that you need for finishing this course. This is going to be the last course for some of you. For others, this is going to be like the last one to go to the preparation course. Not all of you are going to take that preparation course, so that's why. It depends. All right, that's evaluation. About the recordings, you already know. All the recordings are in the YouTube channel, right? To go there, you can go to WhatsApp, go to the description, and click on the link that there's on the description. The other way is to go to Google Classroom, classwork, courses, information, and contact. I'm going to show you that, right? So you're here. This is the new course. You go to classwork, courses, information, and contact, YouTube channel, and Zoom link, right? There's missing an end and this already over there. And here, right now, it's only the link for the Zoom class. However, as I now have access to the YouTube channel, I'm going to copy and paste the information over there. And next to this one, you're going to see the link to go to the YouTube channel. All right, I'm going to do that after this class. And that's it in terms of the recording. So that's how you get and you can find those recordings. That's only if you are not able to be in class. That's only if you, well, right, couldn't be in class for a very specific reason and you had permission. This is the, I'm going to explain that also when you're here. Google Classroom, that one as well. But you know, in general, I'm just going to show you that as in the previous course, this is the main platform. We don't use Pearson, so Google Classroom is once again going to be our main platform. Everything is going to be uploaded there. Now you're not going to write things, right? It's not going to be for typing anything, for writing anything. This is going to be for recording and to upload your recordings. As you're going to see in the presentations, every step, every strategy that we learn is going to be followed by a presentation. Oh, sorry, not the presentation, sorry. It's going to be followed by, let's say, an assignment. I'm going to call that an assignment, but it's an instruction that is going to be for you to record something, all right? The instruction is going to say something like, you have 1 minute to answer to that question, or you have 40 seconds to, after listening to the video, right, paraphrase all the important information that you can remember, more or less like that, all right? So that's the logic of that a presentation that we're going to have related to each strategy. And that's it, all right? Now, I know that you're here now, Stefania. I'm going to go back to the important elements. I'm going to try to explain also some other elements when all of you are here. Perhaps most of you are going to be at 8 o'clock because of the right schedule travel that some of you have. However, so far, for you to know, I was just explaining the basics of the course, which is something that you already know, right? The schedule for the group class, the listening sessions that are going to be replacing the reading sessions, right? Instead of reading articles, this time we're going to listen to lectures and we're going to analyze and talk about those lectures together. Then the evaluation that follows the same logic, right? 30, 30, 40 in class activities, oral presentations, and the final oral presentation. I'm going to give more information about that later on, how to find the recordings and so on and so forth. All right, so far I've done that. At 8 o'clock, in 2 minutes, I'm going to start giving information about the main elements. However, I'm going to continue. All right, I'm going to continue. I'm showing you this. So you have my presentation here, in case you want to check that again, but you know me. You have this presentation that is related to the course. This is what I'm showing here. Here you have important information as the calendar, rules, and other details that you may want to check once again later on. You have the link of the channel, the link of the meeting, right? You have a way of contacting me. This is new. I'm going to explain that later on, but this is how you're going to improve the mistakes that you may have in pronunciation, organizing your ideas, and other details related to speaking and listening. And as you can see very well, you have 4 units, all right? Each unit is going to be with in-class activities as the previous course. Each unit is going to be with 1 oral presentation this time, right? And the last one with the final oral presentation. Again, details about that are going to be given at 8 o'clock in 1 minute, but this is more or less the structure of this class. In the meantime, please, Stefania, I'm going to send you the link so that you can join the course. There you go. The link is in the chat. You can go over there and join this new class, let's say, that is related to speaking and listening.
Okay, teacher.
Again, okay, good, very good. The structure, you know the structures, and you know how the platform is going to work. It's exactly the same way. Everything is going to be in classroom, and you need to upload a lot of information. Now that it's 8 o'clock, I'm going to start, all right, with the important elements that I want to show you. First, I'm going to start with this, speaking and listening. Help me reading this part, please, Estefania. I'm going to mark which part. Read those elements, please, to begin with, over there.
Okay, teacher, speaking and listening. You will record examples of every structure and strategy learned in class. You will record a list of new words every week. All the examples that you record in class and all the oral presentations are graded by following the agreed criteria.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stefania. So everything that you learn is going to be recorded. It means that you're not going to write anything. Here, you don't write. Here, you speak. Okay? Even the list of new words, the vocabulary, it's not going to be for you to write the vocabulary. You need to record yourself reading the new words, reading the definitions, and reading the examples. All right, I'm going to explain that later on, but that's the idea. Everything is recorded and everything is uploaded here, right, in Google Classroom. That's the logic of that part. I'm going to read the next one. It says, use an online dictionary, right? English dictionary instead of a translator. So far and up to this point, I think that you're doing that. And that's what you have to do, right? The translator must be the last resource. Only if it's really hard, right, for you to find a word or to understand something, use the translator. But the big advice is not use one. Don't use the instructor as a translator or dictionary. Again, don't try to ask me, teacher, what's this word in Spanish? No, let's try to leave that aside. Let's try to leave English, or sorry, Spanish, all right, and use English only. And also dictionary, no, it's better if you look for your words and you give me sentences using those words, and I'm going to guide you in the way you are going to use them. All right, that's the best way in which you get more independent, and I can only help you understand the hardest part, which is understanding a word in one sentence and knowing that you're using that sentence or that word in the right way. All right, that's it. That's something important that I wanted to show you related to speaking and listening. Now we're going to go to the rules. And yeah, I'm going to mention this again to your partners. They're not here yet. But let's read once again this part, please, Stefania. Let's begin by reading that part.
Okay, be on time. Turn on your cameras. Obligatory when participating and for oral presentations. Fill out the daily surveys. Absences permission, 3 maximum. Classes and reading sessions.
There you go. Thank you. Right, there's a mistake over there. This time is not reading session. This is a listening session. So this is very important now. All right. I didn't mention that yet, but now in this class, it is going to be obligatory to turn on the cameras, not the whole class. All right. You don't have to turn on the cameras the whole class. But now I'm going to ask you every time that you're going to participate. All right. And I'm going to tell you, please turn on your camera. And you're going to turn it on and you're going to participate. And for the oral presentations, that's, well, there's no doubt about it. All right, you have to do it. Why? Because I need to see you I need to see what you're doing, because there are rules related to reading or doing something like that. I need to see how you are giving that information. I need to realize if you're really paraphrasing or you're reading everything and you memorize everything, because that's going to be different. All of those details are going to be evaluated, and I'm going to show you that. If you don't use your camera, the presentation is only going to be certain percentage. It can be 75 or 50%. If you read what you are explaining, that's going to be less score. All right, so that's why I need to see you. All right, in the presentations or when you're participating, I need to see you. I need to take a look at your face, at your eyes, at your expressions, at the way, all right, you speak, at what you do when you speak. And all those elements are important, all right, to me, because I realize how you do it, and I can give you better feedback, and I can really understand how you are uh, working with those skills and the things that you perhaps need to improve or keep doing it in that way. That's it. All right. So again, be on time. This time, there is an exception related to this, right? You know that because of the change of the schedule, you can be at 8 o'clock, but try to be on time. Try to be 8 o'clock. You know that I'm going to start 7:45, but I'm not going to explain anything that is very, very important, or I'm not going to start with practice. All right. I'm only going to work with review. If you want to review something, be at 7:45. If you have some questions related to the previous content, be at 7:45. All right. If you want to practice with me, be at 7:45. Extra practice. That's something extra again. All right. The next part is going to be for you, please, Melanie. Let's read the last part of rules.
Okay, teacher, do you want me to turn on the camera now?
Not now, Melanie. I'm going to tell you later on when we work with the exercises.
Okay. To ask for permission, contact management. The instructor cannot give any permission. Be respectful.
Thank you very much. And this is something that you know, right? That's not new for you. Permissions, right, is something that I cannot give to anybody. That's something that you need to work on with management. And you know that there's a special email address, I think. And you need to write to that email address, sending evidence of why you are not attending classes or what's happening. If you're going to the doctor or something happens, you need to show some evidence, right? To see if you were doing that, not in the sense that we don't believe what you're saying, but in the sense of doing this in a more formal way. All right, that's very important to keep the things formal and in a professional way in this kind of environment. If you're having problems with your internet connection, try to take some screenshots, right? And you need to show that you're having those problems, that you're trying to join the class, but you're saying that message, right? It's impossible to join this meeting, or I don't know, right? Whatever message that tells management that you're having real problems with your internet connection or something is going on there. And that's it. Just take that into account, please. The only thing I'm going to tell you again, now that you're here, Nicolas, remember when we participate in class and for the oral presentations, we are going to turn on the cameras. The last course we didn't do it, right? I think it was the first class, and sometimes I think Nazarena was the one who was doing it. However, this time everybody is going to be doing that, all right? Only when participating and the oral presentations. And now at least 3 of you are here. That's good. I'm going to go to this part then, the calendar. Now, this is very important for you to take into account, right? As you can see, once again, every Friday, and this time it cannot be different because the presentations are going to be in class. All right, so it cannot be on Saturday. It has to be on Friday. Friday is going to be for those oral presentations. I think there are 5 or 6 of you. Each presentation is 10 minutes. So it has to be like timed. All right, it has to be timed in the sense that I'm going to see who's going to be able to be at 7:45. That person is going to start. Then at 8 o'clock is going to start everything. All right. In fact, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, perhaps, we need to have those 6 presentations. All right. And perhaps we're going to have some minutes for some questions and something that I'm going to explain, but take that into account. We need to do it. And I'm going to send you the schedule and I'm going to tell you, Melanie, you're going to be the first one or the second one. This is your schedule. Estefania, this is yours. And you need to be the whole class because you need to pay attention to your partner's presentations. That's also evaluated. You're going to see how. But it's important that at that time, the time at which you are going to start your presentation, that everything is ready. All right, that your PowerPoint presentation is there, that you're ready to share the screen and to start with it. All right, that's very important, that at that time, everything is ready to begin with your presentation. So again, every Friday, you have 3 weekly oral presentations and 1 final oral presentation. Okay, you have 1 holiday that it's November the 2nd. That's Tuesday, all right? That's holiday, no classes there. No classes on Monday, all right, in November the 8th. That's because we finished classes the previous Friday. And the final listening session, all right, is going to be on November the 9th. And that's it. This is going to be our month. If you have any questions related to this, let me know, please. But I think it's clear. Everything that is on those red squares, it's a very important date for you. Oral presentations, final oral presentation, the holiday, and this day that you don't have class. Any questions? Let me know, please.
Teacher, yes. Oh, sorry, Mela.
Go ahead. What do you say? Melanie, let's start with you. You raise your hand. What do you say?
Okay. Don't worry, Nico. My question is that now the time of the class is just 1 hour, right? Until 9.
No, I mean, it's the usual time that we have, right? 1 hour and 45 or 40 minutes, sorry. Remember that the classes start at 7:45 and it's going to be until 9:20, all right? Or 9:25. That's the time you're going to work with me, all right? From 7:45 to 9:20, okay? Most of you, I think, not all of you, because you told me last class and I remember. Some of you told me that you are able to join at 7:45. Do it, please. If you can do it, do it. Why? You know that I'm going to work with very specific things, and it's very important that you understand those things. Some of you may be able to understand that, all right, faster, let's say, but if you need more explanation related to what I'm going to ask for in the presentations, in the in-class activities, it's important that you are at 7:45 so that I can make that clear for you, review something, practice with extra things, all right? So the first 15 minutes are like some minutes that I have for you or with you to practice extra things, all right? But again, that's part of the class, Melanie. Taking those 15 minutes into account, we have until 9:25 would be more or less, 9:25, which is going to make 1 hour and 40 minute class. And that's going to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The only thing that I was saying related to the 1 hour is that on Friday, all right, on Friday, as most of you can be at 8 o'clock, I think the presentations are going to start at 8 o'clock and they are supposed to be until 9 o'clock, only the presentations. But after the presentations, we need some questions. And perhaps instead of working with those questions after the presentations, it means from 9 to 9:20 or 25, I'm going to use those 3 to 4, 5 minutes in between the presentations. So after the first 10-minute presentations, I'm going to ask you some questions, then your partner. And using that time more or less, all right, more or less, it's going to be until 9 or 9:25 that everything is going to finish. But every class is going to be like that, all right? And the private sessions, which are the listening sessions, are only 15 minutes as usual. Okay, I don't know if you have any more questions.
No, thanks.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Melanie. And you can ask yours now, please, Nicolas. What is your question?
No, teacher, I had the same question. No worry.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. Just to be sure,
Because
remember.
sorry, because in the picture that the management sent to the group, they say that it was until 9.
Okay, then that must be a mistake. All right, I'm going to tell them to verify that. But no, it's going to be the 1 hour and 40 minutes. All right, it's going to be the 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to tell them to check that and to correct that one. But it's going to be that time. All right, good. Thank you for letting me know
Okay.
that.
Thank you,
I'm
teacher.
going to contact management. No, you're welcome. And thank you, because I didn't realize that one. All right, I'm going to contact Ruth and I'm going to see what happened there. But that's the thing. The other kind of information, I already showed that, but it's what you know. All right, everything is something that you know. I'm going to go now. I think that's Stephanie is already here, but I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so please, there you go. Melanie and Nicolas, the link to join this new course is in the chat. You can go there, please. And I'm going to start explaining details about this course. And this is very important, please. Again, as you were able to see in the previous one, these details and these criteria are very important. If you don't use and you don't take into account these criteria, you may have good and very good speaking skills, but please, I need to use parameters. And I'm going to score and grade your presentations on the basis of those parameters, all right? And if you don't follow those parameters, even though your presentations and even though your speaking skills are good or very good, perhaps you're going to have a failing grade. Why? Because you didn't follow the criteria, okay? So let's first understand the in-class activities. It's not that different. You're going to see only 2 things that you need to do. I'm going to ask you, Estefania, please, to read this part.
Okay. Please, here you need to upload 1. An audio file that contains at least 9 new words with their definitions and examples, vocabulary. 2. The recordings of the answers you've been asked there to record by the teacher in class practice.
Okay, thank you very much. So here you see, right? I'm not asking you for writing anything. You need audio files, all right? You need recordings. It means that your vocabulary is not going to be a Word document. No, your vocabulary is going to be a recording, an audio file. You're going to say the word, right? This word, accent, the definition. An accent is this and that and that. The example, right? She has a very noticeable accent. That's it. The second word, right? Week. Week is a time reference that says this and that and that. The example, right? This week was very tiring for me. That's it. 9 words minimum, right? You have to record yourself reading the word, the definition, and 1 example that you have to give me. That's it. That's the first part. This is for Friday, right? Every Friday. And the second part, every recording that I'm going to ask you. And all those recordings are going to be part of the presentations. If we're going to learn about paraphrasing, you're going to have 1 activity related to paraphrasing. And I'm going to tell you, please listen to this. We'll listen to that together. And in class, I'm going to tell you, please, now you have 1 minute to record. Are you ready? Do you have your cell phones? Do you have your computer, your microphone? Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to time that 1 minute, and you have to upload that file in class. Everything is in class, all right? The in-class activities, of course, are in class. So you upload them, and I'm going to listen to some of them in class as well, randomly, and I'm going to give you my feedback, and that's going to be evaluated. All right, that's it. So you're going to do that every Friday, please. Vocabulary in audio file, 9 words. You read the words and you record yourself. And the recordings of the activities that we're going to do in class. Every class, all right, every class, and means Mondays and Wednesdays, we have in-class activities, no exceptions. And the Fridays are going to be for the oral presentation. So every class we're going to practice speaking a lot. That's why the listening part is going to be also for those days, because we are going to listen to some things, but mainly for the private conversations. Do you have any questions about the in-class activities? Let me know, please. You have to upload them the same way you uploaded your essays and your vocabulary, right, in the last course. But this time, not Word files, right, formats. You need audio files. You can use your cell phone, you can use your computer, you can use whatever device you want that allows you to record yourself. Any questions or comments? Let me know, please. Okay, so this one is already assigned, right? And as you can see here, is due October 15. So this Friday, right? This Friday, 11:59 p.m. That's the due date. Now, let's go to the next part, which is going to be the oral presentations. And here, I need you to pay special, okay, very, very special attention. Because, again, if you don't follow this criteria, you may have a very good presentation, but it's very important that you take this into account. Melanie, this time, everything is going to be for you. Over here. Let's read, please.
Okay. The PPT file has to be uploaded. If not, the oral presentation will not be graded 0%. If the file is uploaded late once, it will be 50% of the total only. The second time that it's uploaded late, no grade will be given, 0%. The student must turn on the cameras in the oral presentation. If the camera is not turned on, the presentation will be 75% of the total only. The student must not read the entire presentation. The PPT can be used to guide a student, and reading is allowed to guide oneself, not to give the full presentation.
Thank you very much. So, again, right? PPT, that's the PowerPoint presentation. You have to work on a PowerPoint presentation. It doesn't have to be a complex PowerPoint presentation, okay? I'm using that word again because it has to be there. It doesn't have to be complex, but it has to be there. And it has to be uploaded here. If you don't upload your presentation until October 15, right, for this first oral presentation, then I'm not going to evaluate your presentation. Okay, I need one document over there to evaluate. That's important. This is something that I did in the previous course, but I didn't write the rules. Now I did it. If you upload once, all right, your presentation, but it was late, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 1 minute or 1 day. If you do it late, I'm going to accept that one, but only 50%. All right, you can only have 50% of the total. But the second time, if you do that once again, I'm not going to check it. All right, and I'm not going to grade it, anything, even if it's again 1 minute or 1 day. All right, that's very important. You must turn on your cameras for your presentations. It's not a lot. Here, it's only 75%. But later on, if you don't turn on your cameras, it's only going to be 50 or something like that. Again, I'm very demanding here. I'm exaggerating. But I told you that there's a very important reason behind it, that I need to see you, all right? I need to see how you're doing that, all right? I need to take a look at your eyes, at your mouth, everything, all right? Even if it sounds funny, I really need to see what you're doing when you are working with the presentations, how you move, how you express yourself, what you're doing sometimes, right? I realize when you are only reading like that, like that, like that, like that, that's not going to be the presentation, right? It cannot be like that. I'm also reading, you can read, but it can only be something that is going to guide you, as it says there, right? Only as a guide. You cannot read during the whole presentation. That's going to be like a less score for you, all right, in a certain way. So you must not read your presentation. That's the first part. Do you have any questions about these important elements? Again, this is for Friday. You can start working on your presentations. I'm going to give you now elements, but do you have any questions related to this? Let me know, please. Yes, Melanie, let me know.
So teacher, the PPT needs to be before our presentation, right? For example, if my presentation is at 8, the PPT needs to be uploaded until 7:59, we'll say, yes?
Actually, it's better if you do it before. It's advisable, Melanie, but actually you have the chance of uploading your presentation until 11:59 p.m. that day on Friday, okay? That's the due date, that's the limit, all right? You can do it before, but it's that's the limit, okay? 11:59 p.m. every Friday, all right?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Again, if you do it before, it's better, as you were saying, Melanie, but I'm not going to do that this time because sometimes you need to modify something. You can do it. The main thing here is that you do it for Friday, 11:59 p.m. If you do it before so that I can take that a look, it's better. But again, you have the chance of uploading your presentations at this due date, which is October 15 in this case, at 11:59 p.m. Everything that is here, the presentation and the in-class activities, are always 11:59 p.m. and Friday. All right, good. Now, in the next part,
Teacher, sorry.
yes, Nicolas.
Yeah, so for the presentation day, we need to share our PowerPoint
Yes,
in
correct.
class.
Exactly. You need to share your screen, Nicolas. You need to turn on your camera. You need to share your screen, and the class is yours. All right. And you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And it has to be 10 minutes. No more, no less. Of course, if it's a little bit more, it's okay. But remember that other presentations are going to be taking place there. So it's important that we respect those 10 minutes. And again, you share your screen as I'm doing now. You share your presentation and you need to show that to all your partners and to me. And while turning on your camera, you explain everything to the class. All right, so your presentation is not going to be for me only. Your presentation has to be for the whole class. Why? Because your partners, Melanie and Stefania, for example, now, they need to pay attention to your presentation. Because afterwards, they have to ask, okay, if they want to have 20 or 25 points, they have to ask questions to you, Nicolas, and not any questions. If you're talking about dogs and you're talking about specific things related to dogs, they have to ask things related to those specific things, which are going to tell me that they were paying attention to your presentation. That's why it's important that you have that PowerPoint, because you can show pictures, you can show some words if you want, something that is going to let us understand better. All right? And it's going to make your partners understand better. And in that way, they understand and they ask you questions after your presentation, 3 maximum, 1 per partner. And that's going to be the same for every presentation. And that's going to be the last part. All right, it's the presentation and the set of questions that you're going to be asked and that you need to answer. By answering those questions, you have a score, and your partners have a score by asking those questions. All right. I don't know if you have any questions related to that, Nicolas. Let me know. Or everybody, you can let me know, please.
No, teacher, for me, no. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Teacher, could
Yes.
you explain again the recordings in class activities? I didn't understand very well.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Look, this part, right? The in-class activity. So the vocabulary is clear, right, Estefania? Do you understand the 9 words, the vocabulary?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so the recordings in class are like this. This is the first strategy. We're going to learn that today, all right? First strategy, paraphrasing complex ideas. You have to do this and that, and I'm going to explain this to you. And this is going to be the activity. Listen to a section of this short lecture. I'm going to make you listen to this now in class. The second step, you have to paraphrase everything that you were able to understand in 40 seconds maximum or 60 seconds, all right, sorry, 40 seconds minimum or 60 seconds maximum. And you need to record that in class. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you directly the example, right? So that everything is clear, no doubt. I'm going to use my timer like this, right? And I'm going to tell you, okay, so you have maximum 1 minute. Please, Stefania, Melanie, Nicolas, do you have something to record on? Do you have your cell phones? Do you have your computers with a microphone? Yes, you do. Are you ready? Are you ready, Stefania, Melanie, Nicolas? Yes, we are ready. Okay, so please, you have 1 minute. Start recording yourself and paraphrase everything that you were able to understand, right? 1 minute. Then you have to go to Google Classroom. You need to come here, first in class activities, and you need to upload this recording. Everything that I said now, all right, is something that you're going to do in class. And every strategy, every structure, and everything that we're going to learn has its own activity. Here, this is a different activity. 1 minute and 30 seconds maximum, right? This is another activity over here. This is 1 minute maximum. So in class, every class, you're going to have activities like this. Every time you need to record in class, Stefania, and every time you need to upload those recordings, those files to Google Classroom. And when you do that, I'm going to listen to some of those recordings randomly, and I'm going to give you my feedback. And that's it. That's what's going to happen every class. I don't know if you have any more questions, Estefania. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Now, before going to that part, before going to the first presentation, yes, no, this one. No, for example, I didn't show you, right? It's a good thing that you mentioned that, Stephanie. I'm not going to read everything, all right? I already mentioned, but the criteria, the same as A13, right? Responsibility. If you upload all the in-class activities, for example, I was showing you this. Here, I think you have 3 activities. Today, I think we're going to work with 3 in-class activities. If you have all those 3 activities, or the ones that we work in class, you have those 40 points. It's a lot. All right. If you're responsible, you have 40 points. Vocabulary. If you have the 9 new words with the definitions and examples, you have 30 points. But if you only have words with only definitions but no examples, that's only 5 points. All right. You need to work with all those details. Recordings. If you're following the instructions, all the instructions, you have 30 points. What is following the instructions? This. It says to work with these words. You're working with these words? Good. It says 1 minute maximum. Your recording is 1 minute maximum? Good. It says to upload in the first unit. You did it? Good. 30 points. But if you didn't work with these words, you don't have 30 points. If you didn't work with this 1 minute, you did it in, I don't know, 1 minute and 30 seconds, then you're not following the rules. So if you don't follow the rules, it's not 1 minute, it's 1 minute and 5 seconds, 1 minute and 10 and 20 and 30 seconds, you're going to have 20 or 10 or 5. So the more instructions you don't follow, the less is the score that you get, all right, at the end of that week when checking all your in-class activities. Those are the 3 criteria, all right? Those are the 3 criteria for the in-class activities: responsibility, vocabulary, and recordings. If you have any more questions, again, you can let me know. You raise your hand or you turn on your microphone and ask me the question. Okay? Now, these are the criteria for the oral presentation, and this is very important for you to understand. I told you this before. We're going to analyze pronunciation. I need you to read this. Please, Nicolas, you're going to read this part over here. That one, please.
Okay, teacher. Pronunciation. The student has a good pronunciation. Standard English accent. It's important to be consistent with the accent. Don't mix British and American accent.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Nicolas. Now, this is very important. If you were getting ready, all right, for the TOEFL, for example, in writing and in speaking, it's very important to be consistent. And you can check, you can look for some people who got 115, 120 even, all right, 120 at the TOEFL, that's the maximum score. They tell you something. You need to be consistent. If you're going to write organize with Z, all right, but then you're going to write center with ER, you are mixing British and American English. Why? Center, right, with ER, that's American English. Center with RE, that's British English. And in pronunciation, the same. If you say director, or if you say director, if you say advertising, all right, or advertising. Advertising, it's American. Advertising, it's British. So you have to be consistent, all right? If you're going to use American accent, do it. And that's mainly for the ones who are going to take the TOEFL or any international test. Try to be consistent with one accent. Don't mix, because again, they are very, very like detailed when they are checking those things. And again, your English is going to be good, but the big advice is that you're consistent and that you're using one kind of vocabulary and one kind of accent. So I'm going to try to ask you the same here, all right? Again, I'm not going to be that, I don't know, bossy and that demanding with those accents. The main thing here is the good pronunciation, but that's one advice, and don't exaggerate when mixing them. So again, that's the first part, pronunciation. The same logic, right? If you do at most 2 mistakes, you have the perfect score. But if you have more than 2 mistakes, then you start losing some score. The next one is going to be vocabulary, conjugation, and structures. And that's going to be for you, please, Estefania. Let's read this one, please.
Okay, the student uses the vocabulary correctly. The ideas are conjugated without mistakes, and the structure of the sentence is well organized and logic.
Thank you very much. The same, right? You have to use the vocabulary in a correct way. You cannot use, for example, patience as something that is not a noun or an adjective. Or if it's a noun, use it as a noun. If it's an adjective, use it as an adjective, right? To be patient. I am patient, but he is a patient or a patience, right? Which one do you use? You have to decide. That's what I'm referring to when I'm saying vocabulary. You need to use the correct word, all right, in the right context. The words need to be conjugated, right? Correctly conjugated. It means if it's present, simple present, right? He catches, he studies, right? It has to be conjugated correctly. And the structure of the sentence, it is well organized and logic. what you're saying in your entire sentence is well connected and everything makes sense. That's what is evaluated here. If you do everything in the way you have to do it, that's 20 points over there. Then you have paraphrasing. That's going to be, that's short. So you're going to read two, please, Melanie. You're going to read this one over here and this one over here.
Okay. Paraphrasing. The student can use their own words to explain any idea. A questions. The students ask 3 questions and answer to 3 questions, which are logic when asked and answered. They must be related to the presentation, not general ideas.
Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. So paraphrasing, right? It means that's why I'm asking you to turn on your cameras, because I'm going to realize, right, what you're doing with your presentation. And also by the way that you say those things. I know, for example, you, and I think most of the people, most of you who are in this class have a very good level, all right? I don't think that you're going to have problems with paraphrasing, using your words to explain something, right? Easy. But again, I need to see that. I need to perceive that by, well, first, right, seeing what you're doing in your cameras, the way you are saying those things, and secondly, the way you're going to structure all those ideas. And also one important part are the questions. The questions perhaps are even sometimes more important than the presentations themselves. Why? Because in the questions, I realize how you understand that and how you answer to those things that sometimes are not specific, okay? And it goes to this next part. A and I are ask and answer questions. This is 20 points. So if you ask questions, 3 questions to your partners, 1 question for Stefania, 1 question for Melanie, and 1 question for Majo, let's say it's here, right? So if Nicolas asks questions to those 3 people, Melanie, Stefania, and Majo, he has those 3. So it's 50% already. And then Melanie, you ask 1 question to Nicolas, Stefania, you ask 1 question to Nicolas, and then Marco is going to ask 1 to Nicolas, and Nicolas answers, all right, those questions correctly in a logical way, right? That's important. Then he has 3 asked questions and 3 answered questions. A total of 6, right? Then he's going to have those 20 points. That's why. And this is why I need you to pay attention. And this is very important. They must be related to the presentation, not general ideas. If Nicolas or Melanie are talking about dogs, the question cannot be, but what do you think about dogs? Well, I know. The question has to be related to something that Nicolas or Melanie mentioned in that presentation. Were they talking about breeds of dogs? Were they talking about safety? Were they talking about veterinary, right? I don't know, the care that they should have towards those animals. If they were talking about that, you have to ask questions related to those elements. If you don't know what to ask, or if you ask something too general, that's going to be considered as either, all right, not a very good question, or perhaps that you were not paying attention to the presentation. Okay, so please, if you have any question related to this part, let me know. But the main idea is that you are in class, paying attention to your partner's presentations, asking questions in a logic way, and answering questions in a logic way. That's it. If you do that, you're going to have the 20 points over here and the 20 points when paraphrasing by giving those answers or in the presentation itself. That's it. Any questions related to that part? I only have 1 more criteria. That is going to be this one over here, time management. And let's read this one, please. Estefania, yes, you're going to read this one, Estefania, that part, this one, and the last one. Let's read that, please.
Okay, time management. The student uses the exact given time for the oral presentation. Excellent, 20 points. The student uses the exact time or uses 30 more or fewer seconds at most. Needs to improve 0 points. The student uses more than 120 more or fewer seconds.
Thank you very much. In other words, remember, 10 minutes. Your presentation has to be 10 minutes. If you work only, this in other words, 120 seconds, right? That's 2 minutes. If your presentation is only 8 minutes or even less, here you're going to lose 20 points, all right? The ideal is that you use those 10 minutes in total, 10 minutes. Maximum 30 more seconds, it means 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and minimum 9 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, so that's the logic. If your presentation is between 9 minutes and 30 seconds and 10 minutes and 30 seconds, you're okay. And you have these 20 points. But if you use way less time or you use too much time, then you're going to lose some score. Okay? That's going to apply for all the presentation. And again, it has two main reasons. The first one, as I told you before, it's important that you know how to time yourself. You need to know how to time your presentation. And the second main reason is that there's at least 6 of you, as far as I know. If there are less, it's going to be good. We're going to have more time for questions. But if there are 6 of you, then we need that time. We cannot spend more than 10 minutes per presentation. And that's a lot, but we need to use those 10 minutes. All right, and that's it. Those are the criteria for the oral presentations. The topic, any topic you want. The presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. How you're going to structure a presentation, you do it in the way you want. Again, it's going to be like the last course you remember. The first ones are the way you want. You structure your presentation in the way you want. Any topic you want. If you want an introduction, if you don't want, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to evaluate that, all right? I'm only going to evaluate your pronunciation, the way you use the words, the way you conjugate the words, the way you structure your ideas, the way you paraphrase your ideas, how you answer questions, how you ask some questions, and how you manage your time. All right? Everything else, and of course you need the presentation in PowerPoint. Everything else is up to you. Even the topic and the structure of your presentation. Do you have any questions? Let me know. Okay, that's it then. I think with that, I was able to explain everything and the most important aspects related to this course. This is A14, right? So again, everything is going to be practicing then those skills, speaking and listening. That's it. If you don't have any more questions, I'm going to start with the first presentation. And again, I think it's going to be something that most of you are going to enjoy because everything is related to speaking only. Let's begin. First, I have some important elements to mention here that it's worth knowing or taking into account. All this information is going to be for you, please. Nicolas, let's read everything that you have here, please.
Okay, teacher, please take this into account. Don't use your head to translate, rather than thinking of synonyms or simpler explanations. Accept the idea that you'll make mistakes and that you won't understand everything. Don't look for specific words. Keep your speech simple. Add new words little by little.
Okay, perfect. Now here I'm going to make you participate. First, it's not something specific, but I want to know how you perceive this idea of speaking. And I already asked you some questions related to this, the previous course before finishing, but now that we're in the course itself, I want to ask you now. So I'm going to ask you to turn on your cameras one by one, all right? I'm going to tell you and you turn on your camera. So get ready, please. All right, get ready. You're going to be seen by me and your partners. All right, so the first question is the following. Here you have specific things that you need to do. It says don't look for specific words. Keep your speech simple. That's very important. Add new words little by little. Accept the idea that you'll make mistakes. Some people don't want to speak because they don't want to make mistakes, but in that way, they are never going to be able to speak without mistakes, right? So do it. Make mistakes. Make a lot of mistakes and keep doing mistakes. And after many years, you're still going to make some mistakes, little mistakes, but every time it's going to be less and less and less, right? That idea. And the mistakes are going to be fewer and fewer. So do that, all right? And translation, this is very important. Remember, I mentioned that before. I think some of you were not here. Don't translate. You are not going to use Spanish in this class, even for words that you don't know. Don't tell me that word, all right? We don't care about that word, and you don't have to care about that word. Don't care about specific words, no. Look for other words, look for synonyms, or explain that in other words. That's the main idea, all right? So with that said, I'm going to start with you, Estefania. Let's turn on your camera, please. By reading these elements, tell me, are some of these elements something difficult for you to do? Or what is the thing that you feel that is the most difficult when you speak? Even though you may have a very good level of speaking, how do you feel or how do you think that you can improve even more? What do you say, Estefania?
Okay, teacher, for me, the most difficult is the second point, accept the idea that you'll make mistakes and that you won't understand everything. And the last point, add new words little by little, because I don't know how do you say that, but like I don't know.
Try to look. Sorry, try to go around, Stefania. If you don't remember that word, either mention something different or try to go around. Try to play with the words. That's the idea. Right now, I'm not asking you to be specific. If I would be in a professional context, I will tell you, okay, go straight to the point, all right? But here, as we're practicing the language, it doesn't matter. Go around, play with the words. Try to give me examples. Even if you try to do some gesture or to show me some expressions, do it in a certain way, make me understand that. Or if it's really hard to do it, try to go to a different topic and you're going to find out the way later on. All right, so continue please.
Okay, when I don't remember some word, I'm nervous, and yes, I think it's the most difficult for me.
All right, I was having some problems with my computer. I think it's because I changed this to Windows 11, I think it is, but I'm going to check, all right? So, Stephanie, I have extra questions for you before you turn off your camera, all right? I agree with you. It's hard to accept the idea that we'll make mistakes. That's going to happen again. It doesn't matter, even if you're a native English speaker, even if you're practicing English for many years, that's going to happen. But you have to make less and less, right? So my question here, Stephanie, if you were asked, right, let's imagine that you have to take the test next week, all right, a very important test in which you need to show your speaking skills and you need to speak like a native English speaker, all right? What are the things that you really feel that you have to improve on? I mean, besides those things, make mistakes and so on, what are the things that you feel that you keep going on in terms of the same mistake or some words that you don't understand very well? What are the elements besides those that are here that you would improve, and why?
I think I need um, to try don't use the translator, because when I don't remember something, is my first tool is to translate.
Good, good. Yes, I agree in that one as well. Using a translator can be a step back, right? Sometimes we believe that it's a good idea to do so, but actually the time and the day in which you decide to stop using the translator completely, that's the way and the day in which you're really going to start like getting English and acquire English words in the way it's supposed to be, right? So I invite you to do that. My last question over there, I'm going to go to the next people after that, all right? How often do you use English in your life, Stephanie? I mean, using social network, using all the tools that you use in your daily life. Are all those things related to English? Are all those things in English? Or is English only part of your English classes and that's it?
Yes, teacher, only in the class, or sometimes I watch a TV series in English, because it's better to watch and to listen in the uh, I don't know, in the in the correct language. I don't know.
Good. In the native language, you can say, okay. Okay, good. Very good. That's going to be it. All right. Thank you very much, Stefania. You can turn off your camera if you want. Thank you very much. So good. Following that logic, now I'm going with you first, Nicolas. All right, Nicolas. Related to this and related to everything that Stefania mentioned that I think is very important to take into account. What is difficult for you when speaking? You already told me some things, but what do you feel that makes you like feel uncomfortable or unsure when you speak English? What do you say, Nicolas?
Okay, sorry, teacher. Well, I think the first one, because even if I try to translate that word in my head, I won't find the perfect translation, because I know that there are some words that I need to learn and practice with that words to memorize it. And well, that's the reason why I think for me it could be the most difficult.
Okay, good, very good. The next one is related to the last thing I asked to Stefania. How often do you relate with English? I mean, are you practicing English only when you are in class? Or do you get other ways of practicing English outside the classroom and using social network or other applications like that?
Yes, I use social networks in English, and like 1 week ago, I tried to start a Netflix series. Well, obviously in English, but with subtitles in English too. Well, it was a little difficult because there exists a lot of words that I don't know its meaning.
Okay, good. But that's a great step. And again, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't know the exact meaning, right? Because sometimes even the picture, the image, the video itself is going to make you understand what that means. Good. The next one, related to the translation. How often do you use a translator when you want to communicate in English or when you want to understand something that is in English, Nicolas?
I don't know, teacher. Sometimes I only use the translator when I don't know one word, only for a word, and rarely when I don't know how to write a phrase, for example.
Okay. when was the last time related to that, right, that you translated a whole idea? Because, you know, so now that you are in a good level in English, I believe all of you, Stefania, Nicolas, Melanie, I believe that you have a very good level of English, and that now you recognize that when you use the translator, Google Translator, sometimes the translator or the translation itself doesn't make sense, right? Many things. When was the last time that you translated a very complete idea using that translator, Nicolas?
For a very complete idea, being honest, for our last session, like 1 week ago or 9 days.
Okay, good. What was that idea? Do you remember what that idea was and how complex it was?
Mm, no, I don't remember very well the exactly idea.
Perfect.
What?
That's going to be perfect. Thank you, Nicolas. Good. And I'm going to finish with you, Melanie. The same, please. Let's turn on the camera and I'm going to go to the same points. All right. You told me a little bit about your perception related to your speaking skills, some problems that you have or that you feel that you have. The same. Out of these elements that you see on the screen, which ones are the ones that you feel that you struggle with, or the ones that you feel that you need to improve, or you need to do that or don't do that?
I had mentioned something out of these points, right?
Yes. First of all, related to these points.
Okay, so for still related to these points, I think that sometimes, now is not really often, but I use like, first I think in Spanish and then I try to translate everything in my head. So it's not like I use the translator in Google or something like that, but I like, sometimes people mention that it's better if you think in English, but it's really hard to change that chip at the beginning. So when I am like, practicing in some, I don't know, 10 minutes, it's really hard because I start thinking in Spanish and how can I translate? Okay, now how can I say these words in English? So I think that is the most difficult for me. However, I think that, I was practicing for a long time, so now it's not really difficult. I know that I make a lot of mistakes maybe, but I am start thinking in English and not in Spanish.
Okay, very good, very good. That's great. I'm going now to go to the same point, right? As I mentioned, how often do you use English in your life? I mean, are all your applications, your cell phone, your social network in English, or even the movies, the series that you watch, or are you still consuming a lot of Spanish more than English?
Well, to be honest, I am not, fond of TVs or series or something like that. However, I'm working in a company. Well, I was working in a company 1 month ago, in a technology company that I was leading the Swiss team. So the girls only speak or French or English. So they didn't have a lot of options. So I need to speak all the times with them. So was all the days in English, at least 4 hours to talk with her. And I think that's something also that helped me a lot because I'm not like, I can learn more when I am listening something. So there is a lot of good podcasts in Spotify that help you a lot. So every time that I got a chance, I just reproduce the podcast and I am doing whatever I am doing.
Good, good. That's very good. Actually, you mentioned something that I was going to mention afterwards, even perhaps at the end of this course. But now that you mentioned that podcast, all right, I love music, all right? I'm in love with music. Music is everything to me. Perhaps if I'm alive now, it's because of music, all right? I love music that way. But music has one kind of limitation. It's when you're learning English. It's good to listen to music. And if you listen to English music every day, perfect. But if you really want to get to speak, very good. And if you really want to get to have that fluency in English, podcasts are better than music. All right. Download some podcasts in which they are talking about any kind of topic. They are talking about animals, I don't know, science, technology, psychology, whatever you want. If you do that, as you were saying, Melanie, the big advantage of podcasts is that you don't need a specific time to do so. If you want to watch a series or a movie, you need time to do so, right? You need 1 hour, 30 minutes or so. But with podcasts, you're going to your, I don't know, university, to your job, right? You put on the ear sets and you listen to that podcast, right? You don't need time to do so. Perhaps not all the time as when you watch a movie. So that's one big thing that you're saying there, Melanie, and I agree. Working with podcasts is one of the best ways of learning vocabulary, of practicing English, and practicing your listening skills, right? The last one over there, Melanie, for you. Well, you already told me, but actually you didn't mention, do you use your social network or your cell phone in English? Is that in English as well or in Spanish? Before the next question.
No, it's all in Spanish, but to be honest, I don't use a lot of my cell phone all the time.
Okay, okay, good, good. Then let's go to the next question then. You know, you were talking about fluency, all right? Talking about fluency and how to get fluent to you. I'm going to ask this to you now that you mentioned the podcast. In what part or in which way do you feel that you are limited when you're speaking English? In what parts when you're speaking, because there must be some specific parts in which you think and you pause and you don't know how to continue or how to speak fluently. What are those elements that you recognize that are an obstacle for you when you are speaking English and they don't allow you to be that fluent or as fluent as you would like, Melanie? Because not all the case, but in some cases.
Well, I am conscious that sometimes when I'm talking with a third person, like she, he, it, is like I always forget. I know the rule that is put an DS at the end of the verb. I know, but I always forget. And sometimes it doesn't. I mean, sometimes it's like he plays piano and it's like natural. However, when I am starting a new verb or something like that, and I am trying to conjugate this with he, she, it, so I forget the rule, and then it's like, okay, I make a pause and say, oh, okay, and I repeat. And that is, I think, when you do that, like pause and repeat, you can lose this fluency. That.
Oh no, she lost the connection, but I think we got the last idea, right? Good. So I hope that she's going to be back soon. With all that feedback, it's important for me. Why? Because this week and the following week, we're going to learn about these strategies. Even though these strategies are simple, all right, very simple, because it's obvious that you need to work with paraphrase. Most of you may know the meaning of this word, but I'm going to ask you, right? So don't turn on your cameras, please. I'm going to ask you that one. Synonyms, don't use Spanish, but the thing is that you have to practice. One thing is that you know, because this is obvious, and the other thing is applying this and knowing how to avoid the usage of Spanish, knowing how to paraphrase, knowing how to avoid things that are making you, all right, step back. And you can go forward and improving your fluency and improving everything related to speaking, all right? The first thing is this one. And actually, I'm going to ask you both, what do you understand by paraphrasing? We saw this before in the essay, right? I'm going to start with you, Stefania. How can you explain the word paraphrase? What is to paraphrase?
To explain or express ideas with own words.
Okay.
Yes, I think that.
Good. Can you give me an example? I know that this is simple, but how can you paraphrase this over here? It says, accept the idea that you'll make mistakes and you won't understand everything. You can change a little bit the structure if you want. Change it in the way you want, Stefania. But how can you paraphrase this and make this your own idea? And I'm going to actually change. Okay, that. Okay, so what do you say? What do you remember about that?
You need to accept that everything you said is not is correct, and yes. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. You have to accept, right, that not everything that you're going to say is correct. Good, good. What else? There's one more idea. I'm going to read once again. Try to complement that. It says, right, accept the idea that you'll make mistakes and that you won't understand everything. All right, there's the second part that is missing. So Once again.
Okay, and maybe you don't understand everything you listen.
Okay, what is a synonym for understand? What is a common word that you can use instead of understand?
I don't know, teacher.
Okay, you can use the most common get, right?
Okay.
And you won't get everything that you would listen to or read, right? You can use get, you can use comprehend, right? Get, comprehend, but get is the most common one, okay? Good. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going the same with you this time, please, Nicolas. The same. Try to do it in your own words. I know that this is the same for everybody, but how can you explain paraphrase?
It could be like reward the idea with my own words.
Okay, okay, good. That's interesting. Reword something, restate something, right? Good.
Restate something with my own words.
Very good. Yes, it's better if you say restate. Very good. This one. How can you paraphrase this? I'm going to read these ones for you. Don't use your head to translate rather than thinking of synonyms or simpler explanations. That's what I was doing with Estefania and all of you, right? That one. I'm going to go here. So how do you paraphrase that idea of a translation?
Well, if you know the meaning of one word, in that moment you should find a synonym of that word to don't lose the time when you are
Okay,
speaking.
and what's the purpose? Why do you do that, Nicolas? Why do you use some synonyms of that word? What is the intention?
Don't allow us the fluently when you
Okay,
are
the
speaking.
fluency.
The fluency,
Okay,
sorry.
the fluency. Okay,
Fluency.
good. And what else? There is one important word that it was over there, right? Translation, right? In order not to translate the word, it's better to look for synonyms or to use simpler words, right? And that's the last question for you, Nicolas. What is simpler words or simpler ideas? What do they mean by that? Or what do I mean by that? Simpler explanations.
Simpler explanations. Well, explain something with common words.
Very good. That's interesting. Using common words, right? And you're right. Because if you want to use complex words, complex vocabulary, but you don't know very well that idea, right? It's going to make that harder and it's going to make it, I don't know, right? Something that is even not understandable for the other person. So good. Common words. Thank you, Nicolas. And I'm finishing with you, Melanie. By the way, I was able to listen to everything, I think. If you have something to add to what you were saying, Melanie, it's going to be good, but I think that we were able to get the most important ideas. The question for you, it's actually going to be something a little bit different, and I'm going to go to this one. What is this word for you? All right, synonym. How do you explain that in your own words, or how can you define this word?
Well, a synonym is
Don't forget to turn on your camera, please, man.
okay. Teacher, to be honest, my computer is really hot and I don't know if it's going to turn off again. I am suffer a little bit with that, but let's see. But it's just
Okay.
a warning, please. So, okay. So a synonym, it's try to find a different word, but that have the same meaning that you are trying to explain. For example, I don't know, if you have fear of something, a synonym can be like you are scared about something, and maybe sometimes you can remember faster one word and another, and it's going to be the same meaning. Of course, it's going to depend on the concept.
Good.
Like that.
One question over there before you turn that off. What is a synonym of, can you give me two synonyms of the word eat and two synonyms of the word have? Have and eat, right? Like eating something. What synonyms can you give me of those words?
Well, I think that depends on the situation, but maybe you can say lunch instead of eat. Like I was eating, but lunch, dinner, or breakfast, maybe that can be like I was having my breakfast or not. No, it's the same, right? I was lunching, I think was the only one, because Denise, I was eating breakfast. Lunch. Then other synonym of eat. No, I think starving is not a synonym of eat. Or yes.
Yes, that would be like the opposite. No, that would be when you're starving, you want to eat, right? But it's not a synonym. What about have? Only what have? What is a synonym or two synonyms of have?
Get, maybe is one. Could be.
All right. What else? Could be in a certain situation, yes, but there are more specific to have. What do you say instead of I have a car or I have a dog? Or a house?
I'm not sure. I'm sure. Give me. I don't know if give can be a synonym too.
All right, let's check together. Let's check. That's more than enough, Melanie. Thank you. I'll turn off your camera before your computer explodes.
Yeah.
All right, good, good. No, it's enough. So only when you participate, then you can turn off the camera. All right. So Melanie, yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes lunch can be used as a verb. It's not as common to dinner, to lunch, to breakfast. In England, they use those as verbs in England more than in the United States. All right, I'm going to dinner. In the US, they use more the expression have. I'm going to have dinner. I'm going to have breakfast, right? Have can be a synonym of eat, in fact, all right? In that context, to have something is to eat something or to drink something, have. But you can use other kinds of context, like in which you eat, but in a more aggressive way, when you say devour. To devour something is to eat something. To consume something is to eat something as well, all right? So you can think of those examples: to consume, to devour. And have, as the main meaning of have, because have may have a lot of meanings, it can be own, right? To own something is to possess, and also to possess. And it's to have, right? To own, to possess, to have. So again, why am I telling you this? Because it's important that you know about these options. That if you want to improve your speaking skills, that again, I know I had conversations with you and all of you have a very good level, all right? But if you want to improve and you want to be sure that you're going to avoid using Spanish at all, and you don't want to use any word in Spanish, be sure that you know some synonyms, that you know how to avoid those situations in which you feel pressured and you want to say one specific thing, but it's not necessary, all right? It's not necessary that you say that one specific thing. There's always one more option, and actually not one more. There are always more options, all right? So let's begin with paraphrasing. Again, this is simple, but let's put this into practice. And we're going to finish with this, don't worry. It says, strategy number 1, paraphrase complex ideas. You're going to read this, please, Estefania. Let's read all the information that you have here.
Okay, complex. She angered me with her inappropriate comments, rumor spreading, and disrespectfulness at the formal dinner table. Simple. Paraphrase. She made me angry when she was rude at dinner.
Okay, thank you very much. This is simple, right, to understand. A complex idea is the idea that sometimes you have in Spanish, and you want to put that idea in English the way it is. But don't do it. I mean, do it by little. If you know and understand these words, anger as a verb, she angered me. Anger is not only, all right, a noun, because it can be a noun, anger, or angry, an adjective. But to anger, that's also a verb. Inappropriate, that's more common, right? Rumor spreading, disrespectfulness, right? If you know those ones and you know how to use them very well, do it. But if not, keep it simple. She made me angry when she was rude at dinner. That's it. All right, be simple. In English, actually, different from Spanish, the simpler you are, the better, right? In English, they like the things when they are straight to the point. Say the things they are, and that's it. Do you have any questions about this? Because actually this is easy. Again, you're not learning something here, but you're practicing something with me. And what you're going to practice is the following. We're going to listen now to this lecture. And before leaving the class, we're going to work with this activity. But first, let's listen to this lecture. What you're going to do is, first, pay attention to what you're going to listen to. Okay, to make you listen this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Now, pay attention. I'm going to play this for 1 to 2 minutes. And after those 2 minutes, please, Nicolas, Stefania, and Melanie, you need to be ready to record your answers. Okay? If you want to take notes, take notes. But you have to record that now, and you're going to upload it before leaving the class. Let's do it, please. I'm going to play this for you. Let me share my audio. Okay. So this is the lecture.
Goodness and conceptions of
Okay, there you go.
such as the spiciness of your food or the color of your clothing. These, the value judgments of morality differ from judgments of mere preference because they include conceptions of goodness and conceptions of rightness, and they presuppose a class of beings worthy of moral considerability, and morality also presupposes a concept of virtue. Now, consider goodness for a moment. All moral judgments presuppose some conception of a highest moral good. This could be obedience to God. It could be acting in accordance to duty. It could be realizing one's individual potential. It could be affirming relationships with one another based on a care and empathy. It could also be maximizing a collective happiness. We all live our lives in accordance to one or more of these conceptions of goodness.
All right. So again, that was just part of a lecture. I know that it was not from the beginning, because I really need to get you everything that you can understand from any part. All right. What you're going to do now, please, and again, we're going to do this before leaving the class. I'm going to ask you, all of you, Estefania, with you, do you have something to record with now? You need something, your cell phone or your computer. You need to record something for 40 to 1 minute maximum. Do you have your device ready to record?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. What about you, Nicolas? Do you have your device ready to record?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. And Melanie, what about you?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm going to share my screen once again. All right. Sorry, I got lost. Okay, there it is. Please, I'm going to use the timer. You have 1 minute, okay? 1 minute. Remember, you need to record a minimum of 40 seconds and a maximum of 60 seconds. If you want to the perfect score, you need to follow these instructions. So let's begin, please. You can start recording now. All right, so it's time, please. Let's stop there. Now, again, if we're going to finish the class here, it's 26, but what you have to do is upload this recording to Google Classroom. Go to classwork, go to unit 1, go to first week in class activities, this one, right? First week in class activities. And here is where you have to upload your recordings. Do not turn in your assignments yet, because here you're going to upload many other recordings, at least 4 more. That's something we're going to do on Wednesday, because Wednesday it's not going to be to explain the class. We already did that. It's only going to be to work. All right. Do you have any questions? Because with this, we're finishing the class. Do you understand
Sorry,
what
teacher.
you have? Yeah,
Can you
tell me.
repeat where we need to go in the classroom?
Yes, of course. You're in classroom, right? Go to classwork. Once you are in classwork, right, you go down to unit 1. And in unit 1, you have to go to upload your first week in class activities. There is where you have to upload all the recordings that you're going to work this week. All right, and you have to upload it in the same way you uploaded your essays and your vocabulary files in the last course. Okay, any other questions or comments? Let me know, please. Good. Remember that this is part of your evaluation. By doing this, you are already having part of the score. This is the first recording out of 5 in total that we're going to have, if I'm not wrong. It's going to be 5 minimum, 6 maximum. Most of them are going to be worked next class. All right, so let's finish here then. Thanks for being here. I mean, the 3 of you.
Teacher,
I hope that, yeah, tell me, Nicolas.
Excuse me, sorry. So right now I need to upload my record to the classroom. Sorry, I didn't understand very well, teacher.
Yeah, yes, Nicolas, that's right. You have to. If you don't upload that, you're not going to have the score for today's practice, okay? You need to go to Google Classroom, classwork, unit 1, first week in class activities, and there is where you need to upload this recording, okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Good, you're welcome.
Teacher, sorry, I already uploaded, but then it's like, the option is like, deny the, I don't know.
Let me see. It's okay. I have it there. It's perfect. Once you uploaded, Melanie, you can close that window if you want, but it's not necessary to say turn in or something like that. Once you upload that one, you can go back and continue with your things, all right? But be sure that you need to upload more things here. I think there's the option of keep uploading things after you did this one. but I have your recording, as you can see over here. Now, one thing that I'm going to ask you before finishing, try to change the name. All right, try to change the name when you have the time. All right, try to change the name to activity 1, or you can say paraphrase. In that way, I'm going to be able to find those in a faster way. All right, try to change the name of your file. You can do it now if you want, Melanie, or later on, to paraphrasing or activity 1. But again, your recording is here, Melanie. I don't know if you have any more questions related to that.
I believe that the next class will see this because I don't have the options to keep uploading more things.
Okay, we're going to see. It happens once in the previous course with someone else, Melanie, but they did something. I'm going to try to join the class as a student as well, and I'm going to try to guide you, but there's one way to keep uploading. Okay?
Sorry,
There's one way to keep
which was the name that you mentioned? Paraphrasing?
a paraphrasing or activity 1, one of those. All right, good. That's it then. Again, let's fill out the survey as always, please. Once you fill that out, then the class is over. All right, have a great night. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you tomorrow for the conversations and the listening sessions that we're going to have. All right, have a good night and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you,
Bye,
bye.
teacher. Thank you.
Bye-bye, see you.
Teacher, sorry.
Yes, tell me, Nicolas.
So for the assignment, I need, well, I have to send right now my audio, and for the next class, should I cancel the sending of the ask and upload the other audio?
Yes, actually, when you upload this file now, you have the option of turning in or just upload it. But anyway, Nicolas, you are going to be able to upload a different audio or a different file in the same section Wednesday. All right, you're going to be able to do that, and you're going to do that actually, Nicolas, because we have 4 more audio files that you need to upload in the same section. Okay.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. Have a good night. See you tomorrow, Nicolas.
Have a good night too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.